Thank you for inviting me. It is a pleasure. And just make a summary of what I'm going to talk to you. I mean, West Nile. I will give you a few insights on the West Nile virus. Then West Nile virus in Africa, origin and evolution of West Nile virus. West Nile virus and Italy, West Nile virus and Europe, and conclusions. Most of the slides I will show will be already presented, so that will make my job much easier and your lunch much faster. So starting for West Nile virus, many things have been already said. However, just to make that the definition, West Nile virus is an important zoonotic orthoflavivirus transmitted by mosquitoes. You've seen that. It's responsible for mild fever to severe lethal neuroinvasive disease in humans, horses, birds, and other wildlife species. It's a small, the variant is small, around 15 nanometers, spherical and with envelope. And we have three main proteins: membrane proteins, envelope proteins, and capsid proteins. Single strain RNA, positive polarity, three structural proteins, and 7 non-structural proteins. Is a new name. It's been recently given to him a new name. Is orthoflavivirus nilense. Is called. It's a member of a Japanese encephalitis serocomplex and the family Flaviviridae. Important is distributed worldwide, and we know at the moment, currently we know 8 lineages, but the most representative and the most frequent by far are lineage 1 and lineage 2. You know, the life cycle has been already presented. What I like to focus is this life cycle, which can have only bird as a main actor. I mean, bird-to-bird life cycle, especially in bird of prey, and also human and donors. We have also a cycle which exclude vectors. As well, this cycle in being demonstrated in alligators, crocodile, with they may not need vectors to complete the cycle. We have reservoirs, we have vectors, and we have incidental hosts or dead-end hosts. Normally, most of the infection are subclinical, asymptomatic, in reservoir and also in dead-end hosts. But in dead-end host, we might have also severe complications. In 20%, we may have flu-like symptoms, but also in 1% of cases, we might have neuroinvasive disease. Similarly, in horses. So we talk about West Nile virus and Africa. Why Africa? Because the first case of West Nile virus has been identified and detected in a woman from the West Nile region in Uganda. That's the name of West Nile virus. But what do we know about the West Nile virus circulation in African countries? We know very little. And this is, I should say that most of these data, I forgot to say at the beginning, most of these data came from a PhD thesis done by Giulia Mencatelli. So part of this thesis, the aim of this thesis was to try to collect all the data through the literature published on West Nile virus in Africa. And according to these data collected, we know that in Africa we have three lineages circulating: lineage 1, lineage 2, and lineage 8. Lineage 1 is mostly circulating in northern part of Africa, whereas co-circulation lineage 1 and lineage 2 are in the southern part of Africa, as well as lineage 2 by itself. But then in Senegal, we have also the circulation of lineage 8. According to the data collected, we can say that at least 28 African countries have detected circulation of West Nile virus. In 12 of them, the West Nile virus is endemic. But for the other 19 countries, we don't know anything about. So we need a little bit to know a little bit more regarding this situation in these countries. Concerning the outcome of the infection, we can say that infection and clinical signs and clinical disease has been described in humans, in Southern Africa, in Tunisia, in Algeria, in Morocco, but very few or little data are available on infection in birds, only in Colombia, Libya, one case. And then we have a description of infection in horses in Southern Africa and Morocco. And then serological evidence of West Nile virus circulation in other animals. You can see these two maps representing the data achieved with the literature review done by Mencatelli et al. And the data collected 2 years later by Garcia Carrasco. You can see that these two representations overlap quite well. As well, if you look at the risk map elaborated by Garcia et al. And the distribution of the virus circulation in the right side, also in this case, the two maps overlap quite precisely. Regarding mosquito vectors in Africa, we have detected mosquito positive, the presence of the virus in 46 mosquito species in nature. And they've done competent study in 9 of them, which evidence that Culex pipiens probably is the most important, as well as Culex univitatus are probably the most important species in transmitting the virus. Also, presence of the virus has been detected in ticks, in Ornithodorus savini and Argas arboreus. So at the end of the story, what we know about Africa, we know that we have a circulation of lineage 1, 2, and 8. We have a presence of different vectors, competent vectors, and we have also circulation of West Nile virus among humans, animals, and vectors in at least 28 countries. But we need to know more because Africa is an important, as we see soon, is an important continent in spreading the virus in Europe. The second part of my talk is origin and evolution of West Nile virus. So this study will try to answer what is the phylogeographical patterns of the West Nile virus between Africa and Europe. To do that, we use phylogenetic and phylogeographic analysis. Phylogenetic and phylogeographic analysis are essential tools for understanding how virus spreads over time and across across different locations. Combining genomic data and information regarding geographic information, we might build the evolutionary relationship and movement patterns of viral species. And this is very important because it gives us a clear picture on how virus circulate between continents, countries, and enabling more insight into the dynamics. So starting with a study on lineage 1, we put together the full genome sequences of 229 West Nile virus lineage 1, and we selected these genomic sequences, and then we applied phylogeography and phylogenomic. And we found that the lineage 1 is characterized by a complicated dynamics with multiple introduction from Africa to Europe, and occasionally also some back introduction from Europe to Africa. It is likely that the West Nile virus, clade 1A, in other words, the African ancestor of this clade, has originated in the early 90s in 1919. I don't know how to use this one. From where? From a northern western area of Africa. You can see on the map. And around 1940, from this spot, we have the spread of the virus into opposite direction, one to Egypt and one to Senegal. From Senegal, then, we have a spread of the virus through Morocco into Spain, France, and Italy. So there is a clear corridor evidenced by this study, which is a Western corridor which includes Senegal, Morocco, Spain, France, and Italy. And probably the first introduction in Europe, according to this study, is occurred around 90s from Morocco. But then from we have also, as said before, the back introductions from Spain to Morocco, but also from Italy to Senegal. So in other words, lineage 1 is characterized by, from Africa, is characterized by a corridor joining Senegal, Morocco, Spain, France, and Italy. And there are multiple introductions through these corridors from Africa to Italy, but also from Spain, back introduction to Morocco, and also from Italy, back introduction to Senegal. Regarding lineage 2, the scenario is much less complex because we have only a few introductions from Africa to Eastern Europe. It is likely that the common ancestor of lineage 2 has originated between 18th, 19th century in Southern Africa at around 1773. And there is one corridor joining South Africa to Eastern Europe through South Africa, Republic of Congo, Senegal, Central Africa Republic, and Uganda. And then, according to this study, we have two major introductions from Europe to Southern Africa. One in 2001 to Hungary, And then from Hungary, the virus spread to Austria in 2006, to Germany, to Greece in 2007, and to Italy in 2009, and from Italy to all the rest of Europe. Then we have a second incursion, probably around 2005, and then to Hungary, and then from Hungary to Italy and to Romania 2014. And if you look the results of this study, and we see on the left side the migratory routes, you can see how there is a correspondence between birds, migratory routes, and the phylodynamic of the viruses. Conclusions of this study is that probably lineage 1 and lineage 2, as you have seen, had a very different eco-epidemiological and genetic evolutionary features. You've seen that the lineage 1 has been characterized by a complicated dynamics and a complex genomic heterogeneity, and we have a multiple introduction from Africa to Europe. And also, we have evidence also back introduction from Europe to Africa. Unlikely lineage 2, which appears to be more conserved, with only 2 main introductions from Africa to Europe. But we haven't seen any back introduction from Europe to Africa. Why? There are several possible explanations. Probably 2 viral lineages have independently evolved and dispersed across space and time. Different time of the emergence of lineage 1 and lineage 2 strains from Africa, which in turn, it appears that the lineage 2 has a lower tendency to spread. It appears that although it's been originated much earlier compared to lineage 1, it appears that they have been for many, many years located only in the Southern African area. Why? There are probably birds could be involved, or also vectors could be involved. How much I have? Okay. So make a conclusion on that. Most of these have been already said. Yeah, just one. So this is Italy 2024. You see that Italy has been a peculiarity of Italy. It has been interested on a circulation of 2 different co-circulation of lineage 1 and lineage 2 in the orange. So this is a peculiarity of Italy. And you see that West Nile lineage 1 coming to the western side, and lineage 2 coming from the eastern side to Italy. But the circulation of lineage 1 and lineage 2 involves local circulation, in other words, local species of mosquitoes and residential birds. That's conclusion. Over the years of surveillance efforts in Italy, the significance of integrated surveillance plan involving all professional sectors has become clear. So it is essential to expand this plan across Europe and beyond. There is a pressing need for harmonized and comprehensive surveillance strategy that not only covers Europe, but also other regions like Africa. By adopting this comprehensive approach, we can effectively mitigate the impacts of outbreaks and anticipate future occurrences of West Nile virus and other pathogens. I'd like to thank Giulia Mencatelli, University of Trento, Anna Paola, and colleagues from the Edmund Mack Foundation, Giovanni Marini, Federica Monaco and colleagues, and Omar Fayed from Institut Pasteur, Dakar, Andrea Silveri and Professor Omar Rota Stabelli from University of Trento. Thank you for your attention.